Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Ann Huber, Independent Stampin' Up! Representative. Today I'm going to show you how to make a very simple birthday card. It is quick and it's cute and it uses all free supplies. Yes, free supplies, because we still have our celebration promotion going on for just a little bit longer till February 28th. And with every $50 purchase, you get to choose a free gift from Stampin' Up! And this particular birthday card that I'm making today uses 3 of the free gifts. It uses the Oso Ombre paper. This is 48 sheets of our ombre paper in these beautiful colors. And a lot of this is already missing because I've been using a lot of it. It also uses our Paper Blooms Designer Series paper. This has 12 large sheets of paper that are double-sided. Again, I've used a lot of these already, as you can tell. Well loved, both these products. And it uses the stamp set Approaching Perfection. I love this stamp set. It is obviously for birthdays and it has some cute sayings on it. So I'll get started here in just a minute, but before we get too far along, I want you to look at how you can contact me at annhuber.stampinup.net. I have my email, I have my phone, or just go to the stampinup.com website. I have 2 hostesses for February. I'm excited about that. Bev Mason, and this is her hostess code, and Jody Huber, and this is her hostess code. So hopefully you know one of those lovely ladies. If there's a chance you don't know either of them, you can just pick one or just call or email me. That's fine with your order. I'll put this back out later, so let's get started though. The first thing, I'm going to show you how I have a couple little pieces of our Oso Ombre paper. And I do mean little pieces. Let me put the measurements down there. By the way, my measurements do not have to be exact today. Not by any means do they have to be exact. So don't worry all that much about being exact. But I have 2 pieces of paper, and they're both Rococo Rose in the Oso Ombre. One of them that's a solid and one that has the little circles. One of them's 2 by 1 3/4. The other one's 2 by 1 1/2. So I'm going to then, though, corner round both of these. And I don't have a handheld corner round anymore. I have one that's part of my Stampin' Up! Envelope maker. So I'll do that off camera. And while I'm doing that off camera, I'm going to put this on camera for just a bit so you can see I have a piece of Whisper White, and the measurements are there, and a piece of Night of Navy, and the measurements are there for that. So I'll give you time to get both those measurements down. I'm just rounding the corners. So I'll set that aside for a minute. And then I have Designer Series paper from the Paper Blooms. And there's the measurement there. And then Rococo Rose, and that's the measurement. These measurements can easily be mixed up. They don't have to be exactly like that. If you don't want to use them, you'll see when I go along. I'll set that to the side. And then I have an A2 card. I've used our Whisper White Heavy cardstock. If you're not familiar with our heavy cardstock, it's really nice to use the heavy Whisper White when it's your card base. I love our regular Whisper White if you're layering, but it's a little bit thin for a card base. And our Whisper White is a little bit thicker, makes a little bit more substantial card. Not absolutely necessary, but it's nice. And so back to my first 2 pieces. I went ahead and rounded the corners on both of them. I'm sure many of you have a corner rounder of some sort. If you don't, I'm sure you could use like the bottom of a jar of glue or something and draw like a half circle around and hand cut it out. Or it wouldn't be absolutely necessary if you didn't do it at all. I'm going to put one on top of the other like this, and it's going to become our birthday cake. But I'm not quite ready for it yet, so let me set that aside. And let me get back to our 2 smaller pieces of paper right here. Our Whisper White right here. And I'm going to get out our the stamp set that we're going to use, the Approaching Perfection. I'm using actually three stamps out of here. I am going to use the candles. I'm going to use the news flash, and I'm going to use this little balloon. Right now, though, I want the candles. I'll put the candles on. It's a small little acrylic block here. And I'm going to use some Night of Navy, or in my case, my Night of Navy is getting kind of old, so I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel. It should technically be Night of Navy, but the Blueberry Bushel is so close. And I'm going to stamp these candles in my dark blue color right in the center and near the top. I'm pressing firmly, but not rocking it, and holding it down to make sure all the ink matches. There we are with that. So we got the candles on there. Now I can place my cake. And I did want to do that first because where I place my cake has a lot to do with where the candles are. And each time I make one of these cards, I get the candles in a little bit different spot. So I think it's going to be about like that. So I'm going to use a little bit of our Stampin' Up! Adhesive here, Stamp and Seal. And I will put, let's see, I'll put it right about there. I've seen some where people leave the candles really, really tall. So that's whatever look you want. And then I'm going to put the other piece, other part of the cake, right on top here. Now I get it straight. Looks like I might have that other piece a little bit crooked. Yeah, it looks like I have that top piece just a little bit crooked. But I'm going to put this bow right here, so that might fix anything that might look a little bit crooked. Obviously, the bow is not necessary, and it doesn't have to be that bow at all. It could be some solid color ribbon. It could be baker's twine. Put the bow right there. Yep, a little bit crooked. I'm going to use one of our Stampin' Blends, our Light Daffodil Delight, to color in. Oh, that was weird. Opened up. And I'm going to add just a little flicker up here on each candle. I should probably put a little rhinestone maybe on each candle. Set that aside. Now that gets mounted on top of the Night of Navy, just a little bit larger. This is what doesn't really matter. However you want to make these sizes is totally up to you. You could make it much bigger if you want it. I don't think you can make it a whole lot smaller, but you certainly could make it bigger. Put that right there. And now our piece of the paper blooms, pretty much right in the center. This is going to go. Just some more Stamp and Seal. This was one of my cards that is pretty much centered everywhere. I don't always center everything, that is for sure. But this time it looks like I kind of want everything centered. And then I'll put this on top of Rococo Rose. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to put it on Rococo Rose or on Night of Navy. I think it would look very pretty on Night of Navy also. And look, we're almost done with this card. Then it goes on top of our card base. Then we just have to work on the inside. And there we go. On the inside, we're going to put that news flash. And I will stamp that in black. Well, the plan was to stamp it in black. Here's the black. I use the black ink all the time. You wouldn't think I'd ever have any trouble finding it, but for some reason I do sometimes. And by the way, it says, news flash, birthdays found to be good for health. Studies show that people who have more birthdays live the longest. It's a cute saying that I think all age groups would appreciate. And it's going to get stamped. Really want to make sure I get the black covered on there very well. And I will put it right there. And again, I'm pressing it down, giving it time for all the ink to kind of soak into the paper, sort of, kind of. Lift it off, that looks good. I have my little balloon I was going to put on there that apparently I've lost now. Well, and here's the little balloon. You can kind of do whatever you want with the balloon. I think I'll put it up there, and I'll find a little bit of this Rococo Rose to color in the balloon a little bit. Just a little something extra. Also, earlier, I stamped the same news flash on a piece of Rococo Rose paper and just cut out the news flash, and I'm going to put that over the top there. Again, not necessary, but it's these little things that I think that really make the cards fun. Plus, I enjoy doing them. So I'll put that right there. And I think we were all done. Wasn't that fast? So let's go over that again. We made a birthday cake out of 2 kind of small pieces of designer series paper. I'm sure you have other papers you can make a birthday cake out of. And I'll give you those measurements again. There's just 2 small pieces. After you cut them out, though, they do kind of get turned the opposite way. But it's up to you. You'll mess around with it and decide how you want to make it. And you could make a taller or thinner birthday cake, a shorter, fatter one. That's why I said don't get too hung up on these measurements. And I used the candles from the Approaching Perfection. I used that balloon, and I used the news flash on the inside. And there we go. We have a birthday card all done. So as I say goodbye, let me put out our 2 hostesses again for the month. Bev Mason, Jody Huber. Bev Mason's workshop is this week. So we need your order for Bev's party this week. And Jody Huber is next week. We need your order for Jody's party next week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.